Well, first of all, I happen to agree with your initial premise that it's a very cohesive and a very good way to bind family members ultimately together. It certainly happened in our family, but it also creates succession issues, transition issues, and what in our particular case, we had a patriarch who was, we had a foundation that he created, and over the years it filled with a lot of money, and he gave money and became much more of a philanthropist. He dedicated to certain social justice, education, etc., and there was a very strong point of view. And then when he passed away, it was taken over by the second generation, which is my father's generation. And then when my father passed away, my uncles were still alive, and then what do? All of a sudden there were three, and there were four, but now two, unfortunately, in my immediate family. But there were three of us at the time when my father died, and now we're sitting in a foundation that ran with philanthropic ideas and big points of view and cohesiveness and organization among siblings, and now there are, three other people here with no succession plan, no idea of how to do this, and that's where the comment is succession event or an event or a process. And in my family's case, it was an event. It was when death occurred, succession occurred. That's not what all of us here are about. The idea is we do know there are going to be events like death. It's just a fact. The question is, do we let those determine how it works, or do we allow a process and anticipate that and have a responsive way of doing it and not a reactive way of doing it? So philanthropy, certainly charity, is one place that usually has a very common bond, because one, the dollars that are being given away are not going to family members, okay? Two, there is usually some kind of benefit, binding interest on behalf of the family, because there has been some work done before to get more of a philanthropic point of view or theological point of view behind it. So there's common elements there. And it can be a somewhat easier transition and platform to create guidelines and succession. It can be used very much as a tool when business succession and ideas and guidelines need to be taken. So it I think, can serve multi-purposes. One, it is good to do good, right? It's nice to give out dollars, and it's nice to be impactful positively in the world. And with that comes responsibility, so you just don't spray and pray. And that can be a very, very good work tool and a good binding force, I think, and set an example of how, when you get into the transition and succession issues in businesses, it can use as a great platform. So very positive in that respect.